You're watching Indiana Girls High School basketball, and tonight from the east side of Indianapolis is the first game of our girls-boys doubleheader. First up, the girls take center stage as number 6 Lawrence Central takes on Warren Central here tonight. Rick Johnston and Jared Thomas here with you tonight. Game brought to you by Ed Martin Automotive Group. Ed Martin, the only name you need to know. Lawrence Township Schools, learn more about Lawrence Excellence today at ltschools.org. And LD Smith Plumbing, the big dogs of plumbing. Jared, we have got to the final stretches of the regular season, and both these teams getting ready to hear who they're going to play in the sectional draw coming up Sunday.
I couldn't believe that already we're sitting at another sectional tournament that's around the corner from us, which means state championship time is here. So winning is that much more critical for both ball clubs, and I know they're excited to get it going tonight. For
Lawrence Central, they have 3 Division I commits in their starting lineup, obviously headlined by Lola Lampley. They're coming off of a 14-point win at North Central on Tuesday. Winners of 6 out of their last 7. And when we talk to head coach Janan Lampley, it's not only senior night for her Bears night, but a pretty big one as well. They want to try to keep rolling. This is their 6th game in the last 9 days, by the way.
For anyone out there, if you haven't talked to her, when you talk to her, you get the sense that she's very decorated in what she was able to accomplish playing the game of basketball, because the standard that she has in place for everyone that plays for her, it started with the feeder system that she took onus of when she first got here. You can tell throughout the years, people have started to live up to those expectations. And when the expectation is to win, you don't take losses like last year lightly, and you look to correct them at 365 days, accelerated into the new year that we are right now.
Senior night for LC. These seniors were freshmen when Coach Lampley became the head coach 4 years ago. For Warren Central, they're 11-8 on the year. They've won 4 in a row. They're coming off a win against Mount Vernon last week.
And this is just a team that's very young, only 2 seniors that are starting. So you look at the 8 losses that they have, 4 of them are by 10 points or less. The other ones are blowouts. That's just a sign of an immature team. They don't really know how to consistently show up night in and night out, but that's something that Coach Stacy Mitchell will get in place, because let's just call it what it is. He's a winning coach, hasn't had a losing season in his entire time as head coach, so they will be just fine.
Coach Mitchell was the girls Indiana All-Stars head coach a year ago. We're ready to go. Hear from Lawrence Central tonight. Girls and boys doubleheader. First up, the girls. Warren Central LC coming up next here on the ISC Sports Network.
Between the Warren Central Warriors and your Warren Central Bears. Now please direct your attention to the video board for an
What's in a name? What's in a name? Ed Martin Automotive Group, the only name you need to know.
McCulling in time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is
God, there you go.
Wow, Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel a little momentum starting to fall Lynn's way.
That
Wrestler! Wrestler! Whoa!
Hey, it's Query.
And I'm Schultz.
And each and every week in podcast form, video form from the IHSAA Sports Network, we do Query and Schultz, brought to you by Bailey and Wood, the fine folks south side of Indianapolis, but serving all of central Indiana for the best mortgage rates.
And, of course, we record right here at Chili Water Brewing Tap Room and our friends at Hoagies and Hops, 42nd and Boulevard, right here in Indianapolis. We're talking Colts, we're talking Pacers, we're talking Hoosiers, we're talking Boilers, and we're hanging with you.
We talk the tall and the short of it, right, is what we do.
Yeah, whatever, man. Every Tuesday night, 7:30, right here on the IHSAA Sports Network.
Beautiful rendition of our national anthem performed tonight by the Lawrence Central Pep Band. So we're going to look at the teams about to be introduced tonight. First will be up for Warren Central. We mentioned coming in with an 11-8 overall record. They are 4-5 here on the road. Lawrence Central has been great here at home, 8-1 on the year. This all-time series the last 25 years has been owned here by Warren Central, 23-8 over the last 25 years. But Jared, as of late, it's been all LC winners of 4 in a row and 5 of the last 7.
We talked about the head coach for the Bears of Lawrence Central, and you say they've had so much success the last few years, and I have a sneaky suspicion it's because of the last name Lampley and what those two sisters were able to do, state champions just a couple of seasons ago. So a lot of success seen by this women's program here at Lawrence Central.
A convincing win for the Bears last year at Warren Central, 72-27. These two schools separated by less than 7 miles here on the east side of town. Starters tonight for Warren Central. Their second leading scorer is Denisha Jacobs. She wears number 10. Her sister Danelle Jacobs, their leading scorer, leader in steals and leader in assists, wears number 11. Aislinn Durham wears number 21. She is tied for 3rd in rebounding this year for Warren Central. And rounding out the starting lineup for the Warriors, number 23, Isis Rogers, a 5'11 sophomore. And the 6'1 sophomore center, Melina Fowkes. She wears number 34. She's 4th in points per game, but leads them in rebounds at almost 6 per night. Just one more game left of the regular season, Jared, for both of these teams as the lights go out and we get ready to meet the LC starters. For these two teams getting ready for these final couple tune-ups before tournament time gets here in about a little less than 2 weeks, what's the most important thing you think for both of these teams here tonight?
The main thing has to remain the main thing, and the quest to a state championship is always going to be front of mind for two coaches as respected as the two that we have here tonight. So I'm sure they're impressing upon their team. The biggest focus is, can we play our best basketball going into the most pivotal part of the year? And then for Lawrence Central and Coach Janan Lampley, 6 games in 9 days. And then you go to the games that they just played in the state of Ohio, 2 games in the same day. It was just further preparation to get her team ready for what they already saw in the county tournament and what they will see potentially in the semi-state round when they do play on the girls' side 2 games in one day if they were to go on in advance.
They fell to Crestwood by 4, 52-48, as a different starting lineup time here for senior night for LC. In that Crestwood game, though, they fell behind 14-1 at the end of the opening quarter, battled their way all the way back, able to make that thing close. They led with 44 seconds left. Then a couple miscues went away. Then they had to play a completely different team in Lakota West later in that day. When we talked to Coach Lampley earlier today, I felt kind of bad when I brought up the fact, and I said, well, this will be your 6th game in the last 9 days, and she's kind of had this big exhale. She goes, man, that sounds like a lot when you say it out loud. And I was like, oh, I felt bad, Coach, my bad.
And the biggest thing that comes to mind when you have that many contests and that many amount of days, you have to find a way to get them some rest. They were able to do that in yesterday's practice, as she talked about. When you have this doubleheader like we have tonight, girls first, and then the boys second, the JV plays the night before. So it's almost like they stole some time back to really slow things down, get some rest while also continuing to get better at the same time.
They had a couple of seniors as well, or a couple of JV players that played some nice minutes for them here as of late. Same with the regular starting lineup. 4 out of the 5 regular starters tonight here for LC. Lola Lampley, Aubrey Ingram, Anaya McKenzie, and Kiki Butler. And Lariah Wyatt, 5'11 senior. She wears number 15. She gets the start here tonight. A wonderful story about Wyatt. Stepped away from the team for a couple of years, had to earn her way back, and she met every challenge and every level that Coach Lampley asked her to come back in. Made me feel like I was watching a real-life version of Coach Carter when she told us that story a couple of weeks ago.
She does not cast any stone that's not warranted, and she's going to hold girls accountable. That's why they've been so successful.
LC in pink tonight. Stepping on the baseline after the block down low for Warren was Aislinn Durham, and it's going to stay here with the Bears. I think initially everybody thought like me, it was stepping out of bounds.
That's
and
exactly right.
Going to the Warriors. Wide open catch and shoot 3. Kiki Butler rattles it home. That's the future Boston College Eagle.
Just a simple out-of-bounds action finds Kiki Butler. No one from Warren Central even contested it, and Kiki was able to get it to go.
Warriors able to break this full court press here from Lawrence Central. Aubrey Ingram walks out and defends the ball near midcourt. Rogers trying to turn the corner on Butler. Hyde almost got her hands on the dribble. Danelle Jacobs wove her way in, lost it. And here's Butler leading the paint, throws it forward, couldn't connect with Hyatt. Good deflection there from Rogers.
But that's one area of the game for Coach Lampley. When you start to think about ball handlers and losing Riley Shellhammer like they did in November, finding a way to take care of the basketball by committee, turnover early, sure not a welcome sight for the Bears.
Another crack at it here for Warren Central. First minute of our opening quarter. Donnell Jacobs to Durham. Got in the paint, felt that pressure. Long bounce pass. This is Denasia Jacobs, whose three was a little bit short. Lampley had it but couldn't gather it in. Good hustle there from Fowlks. Catch and shoot three. Jacobs couldn't dial that one in. That's Donnell Jacobs, and it's out of bounds. And going back to LC. Bears, a 6th-ranked team in Class 4A, 3-1 in the MIC. Their only conference loss to the uber-talented Pike Red Devils. A little pressure here from the Warriors in the backcourt as well. Hyatt measures a corner three. Lampley comes soaring in over everyone and gets the easy putback.
This is just one thing I see the game from this particular lens is how does Lola Lampley go and find easy baskets? You jump into the passing lanes like we just saw her do there, create extra possessions defensively, turn it into offense, and then the possession before, just an offensive rebound putback. In 2 possessions, you get 4 points. That's how you are able to cut up your food in bite-sized pieces and still impact the game in a tremendous way.
Good defense there from Anaya McKenzie. Just got caught in the wash a little bit as she was standing out of bounds. That ball deflected off of her. Layla Brown, 6'3" senior, coming in here for Warren Central. She replaces the 6'1" sophomore Fowlks.
Layla only have played in a few games since the turn of the new year, so still trying to find her rhythm and legs underneath her, but very capable of going to get double digits in the scoring department. So the Warriors going to need a big effort from her tonight.
She was 6 of 10 for 13 points last Thursday in the win at home against Mount Vernon. Warriors still looking for their first points here after a couple of turnovers for touchdowns here for LC recently. Jacobs whirls and a timeout taken here by 11th year head coach Stacy Mitchell here for Warren Central. See if it's a 30 or a full. And they're standing around, so that means it's a 30. And tonight's game is brought to you by the Ed Martin Automotive Group. When it comes to your next vehicle, Ed Martin is the only name you need to know. At Ed Martin, to support both the Wildcats and the Central Bears. 7-0 start here for LC. Their defense has been stifling. But like Coach Lampley reminded us this morning, Jared, she said, anything can happen in a MIC game, and she went right back to last week's game against township rival Lawrence North. A very young Wildcat bunch for the reigning state champs, but they gave the Bears all they could handle and kind of had LC on their heels there in that second half on this floor.
But what else did she say about the MIG? It's like the SEC.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's any inkling into how she feels about sending oldest daughter Jayla to go play in the SEC for Mississippi State. But this is that time of the year. You talk about Lawrence North this year. You go back to last year. They beat them by almost 30 points in that last few weeks of the regular season and lost in sectionals to them. And we know the rest of the story for the Wildcats of Lawrence North going on to win a state championship. So to her credit and point, anything can happen.
Denasia Jacobs along two. Twirling rebound, Rogers. Put back isn't there. Offensive rebound keeps it here, though, with Warren Central. Jayla Lampley tearing it up down in Stark Vegas for the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Younger sister Lola going to the Bayou next year to play for Kim Mulkey down at LSU.
And there's a reason that you go play for Kim Mulkey. She talked about getting into some championship pedigree and just a Hall of Fame coach in Kim Mulkey. So when she comes knocking, just like Don Staley came knocking for her services as well, usually you pick up those phone calls.
I thought it was just because for the fly jackets and the great and the great.
That's just a byproduct of it.
The bonus?
Absolutely.
Leanna Hyatt, number 1, sophomore in pink out there on the floor. So the usual starting 5 right out there for LC, but a shocked look from Anaya McKenzie. She left that baby jumper short.
Probably surprised herself that she was so open right in the teeth of the Warriors defense.
Rogers trying to create here for the Warren Central Warriors, winners of 4 in a row. Nice hands there from McKenzie to get the steal, and here comes LC running the other way, but a double dribble. That's a tough couple of seconds here for Anaya McKenzie.
Once again, you find yourself in certain parts of the floor and you find yourself to be indecisive. And when you're not decisive with the basketball, usually the mind is a lot further ahead of the actual body and the actions that you put forth. So Anaya just needing to slow down just a tad in this first quarter.
Denasia Jacobs at the controls, second leading scorer on the year for the Warriors, trying to go up and under on Ingram, but she cut her off. Rogers had her hands on the ball a lot. This one's coming. Oh, look at the grab from you. Look at you. It's like you were a superstar athlete in high school and college.
It just felt natural to do it. Didn't want to make this a whole scene. So.
Oh, well, it's a scene. I'm making it a scene.
That's my good deed in the world today.
The Jacobs sisters trying to create something here for Warren Central. Almost halfway home here in the quarter. No points until right there. Denasia Jacobs dials in a three.
Just a sophomore, second leading scorer on the team. So she's not afraid of the moment, especially when you have as much firepower that the Bears do have.
Was 0 of 6 last week against Mount Vernon. Missed her first one tonight, but a good answer right there. Butler got the scoring going for LC, but couldn't score from right in front. Falks there to clean it up. Jacobs around a screen. Low pass, read perfectly by McKenzie. Now she starts the 2-on-1. McKenzie flying to the other end and showing off that electric speed.
Exactly how you make up for those two mishaps earlier in the quarter. Comes right back, stays locked in on defense, creates a turnover, and converts on the other end.
Rogers double team to the corner, throws it up. Intercepted by Jacobs. She'll let the shot go as a long two. Lampley picks it up, and then a one-handed pass on the dot. And then McKenzie fumbled it out of bounds. That was an incredible three-quarter court pass from Lola Lampley.
One of the things that mom says she's proud of her daughter for, being unselfish. Usually when you're as acclaimed as Lola is and being a two-time gold medalist, sometimes you feel like you're not going to be the most selfless person, but that's not the case for Lola, as you see with the ability at her size, looking up ahead, finding her teammates, staying and keeping them locked in and engaged.
Pressure in the backcourt from both Lampley and Hyatt. This pressure all the way out near. Nice trap. Trying to walk the tightrope was Jacobs. Lost the dribble. Fought for on the floor. Diving on it is Butler. And another steal here for LC. This is similar to what they did to Lawrence North here in this four last week. Lampley creates step-through move between two, then got the foul on the third. Look at Lola Lampley go.
I mean, Rick, what exactly are we referring to when we talk about the special type of caliber talent that Lola has? Watch the skip to my Lou right there, and then the sidestep and the English off the glass. Just was able to manipulate the defense and the angle on the backboard. Three-point play impending.
And she got it. 7 points to lead the way here, shooting 71% from the stripe. This year is Lola. Less than 3 to go. Backcourt pressure as LC flying everywhere tonight here in their pink uniforms and shorts. Long two, Brown. Nice one from the mid-range.
Shooting 62% from the field, Brown is. And you see the sweet stroke just from the free throw line to get the bleeding to stop a bit for the Warriors as they're trying to claw back into this one in this first quarter.
Butler's three-point shot smacked away by Brown, who used all 6'3" of her frame. The Warriors have not scored on consecutive possessions here tonight, trying to change that right here. Jacobs almost had it taken away by Butler, and then Butler stripped it away on the block, and then out leaking come the Bears. Numbers the other way for LC, laying it up and in for two.
Basket is good by Amaya Sowell.
That's Amaya Sowell, normally wears 21, wearing 23 tonight in pink.
Foul is on 23, Isis Rogers.
Always a welcome sight when you can start off the game playing solid defense, and then that defense can propel you onto the other side of the floor and get you points on offense. Everyone in pink playing on a string defensively right now. Signs of a team that's maturing, that is mature, and ready for this back half of the season.
Mariah Wyatt back on the floor here for the Bears. They've led from the opening tip. They scored the first 7 of the ball game and held Warren Central scoreless for the over half of this opening stanza. Head fake Brown. Wanted to go to the far side of the floor, could not. Comes back to the younger of the Jacobs sisters, but Denasia can't dial it in. Lamp of the future LSU Tiger, one of the Miss Basketball candidates here, this talented senior class here in the class of 26. Nice cut down low. Lampley had it. Nice kick out. And banging her way to the rim was so well. Lampley pops free. Corner three on the way. A little bit short. So well tried to tap it around, but couldn't volleyball it to herself. Fouts another defensive rebound here for Warren Central, but an ill-advised pass is intercepted by Butler. Double team on Butler. Wanted Lampley in the corner, but good hustle back there from Rogers to make up all that ground to intercept it.
Warriors just need to slow down a little bit as they're trying to attack, just feeding right into the hands, the pesky hands of Lawrence Central with how they're able to stifle them on defense. Just take your time, make sure you see the action all the way through and the pass and your teammate on the other end, and limit on some of those turnovers.
Lampley gets it all the way out near the volleyball line, wanting to dance with Jacobs. Both of the Jacobses, and look at the hustle diving on the floor as Fouts. Denasia and Danelle Jacobs tag team to take that ball away from Lampley. Rogers into the paint, turn around, little hook shot doesn't drop. Lampley with another first quarter rebound, fires it out to the streaking Leanna Hyatt, who lays it in.
What is that, twice in the first quarter alone? Lola's able to look ahead and find her teammates with a nice three-quarter courts pass. Both times 2 for 2. Pass to bucket.
Danelle Jacobs taking that screen, exploding down the paint. Pocket got picked by Butler, but Jacobs able to get it back. Threw it into traffic, intercepted by Wyatt. And then Denasia Jacobs comes and takes her mind with 2, heaves it up just beyond half court, and it falls short. An impressive opening quarter for the 6th-ranked team in Class 4A. Lawrence Central leads Warren Central 17-5 here on the ISC Sports Network.
Got the dunk, got the poster, and gets the highlights. Now he takes the look away, and he puts it away.
In Lawrence Township, the choice is clear. From NACE-accredited early learning centers to comprehensive elementary programming built to support literacy, language, community, and STEM. A 96% graduation rate, with students engaged in pathways preparing for success in college, career, or military service. 50 state championships and 7 national titles. In the classroom, the court, or on the stage, we produce winners. The choice is clear. Make LT your district of destination.
12-point lead for Lawrence Central here tonight at home as they take on Warren Central, second to last regular season game here for Warren. They are a week from tonight. They are at home against North Central to wrap up the regular season. We talked about, though, Jared, off the top, this is the 6th game in 9 days for LC. After tonight, still 2 more, and they're kind of healthy road trips at Elkhart and then 2 days later at South Bend, Washington up north.
Once again, we're going back to what we talked about at the start of the broadcast. The whole point and premise of any team here tonight playing, you're preparing yourself for a state championship, and you can't lose track of that even when you get to this part of the season. So Coach Lampley just putting her team in different scenarios to mentally be stretched and also see how you react to it, because her motto right now is not win or lose, it's win or learn. A lot of learning going on, even in wins and losses for the Bears.
Danelle Jacobs missed that long 3 after not able to connect on the runner. And Anaya McKenzie, the future UIC Flame, slows it down here for the Bears in their first possession, and then they quickly go right on cue. Hyatt 3, short. Lampley up over everybody for another first-half rebound, and that's Lampley with another field goal. She's already up to 9.
What you couldn't see was the physicality once she got the offensive rebound. Over 40 offensive rebounds to her name on the season, and you see why. Just getting after it on the Windex with the offensive rebounding for Lola Lampley.
On bar on Anaya McKenzie. That's the first foul against LC tonight. Jacobs and Fouts exit here for the Warriors. JC Anderson making her first appearance tonight. That's 3 in black. And Aislinn Durham, one of the starters, back on the floor for the first time here in the second as McKenzie intercepts that pass, and then watch her accelerate to the front court. Jared, she has that rare ability to not only be one of the top rebounders in the state according to her head coach, Janan Lampley, but also one of the fastest players on the floor every time she's out there.
She reminds me of a player that they had during that state championship time, and that's Layla Abdurraqib, who's at New Mexico State right now, absolutely lighting it up. As we see another one go for Kiki Butler. And Anaya McKenzie has that same type of feel. When you're a guard and you average 6 rebounds a game, that shows me somebody that's very selfless in their approach to the game, to go out of their area as a guard and fight amongst the trees and come up with extra possessions.
Lampley jump stopped, had that dribble go off of her foot. She scooped it up, and she's our first player in double figures. That's a 7-0 start to the second quarter here for LC, just like they did back in the first.
One of the questions we asked Coach Janan Lampley was, how do you get Lola more easy shots? And what did she say? It's just about her taking the shots when the shot is for her. They haven't had to draw much action for her to attack because she's done it all by her lonesome with offensive rebounding and getting turnovers and converting them to points.
Butler at the controls. Lampley's also added the ability to be more of a facilitator and creator with the ball in her hands. Ingram's three, back rim, put back right in front, right on the spot, Anaya McKenzie. But Lampley's ability to bring the ball up the floor from the offensive side of things is really taking some pressure off of Kiki Butler as of late. Passing up an open three, Anderson. Lampley in her length coming out to defend the 5'7", Denasia Jacobs. Rogers taking the screen from Brown. Catch and shoot, Jacobs. Altered there by Lampley. The ball gets kicked right to the waiting arms of Durham, who then lost her footing underneath. Through that pass in the traffic and out of bounds. It'll stay here with the Warriors.
Bear substitution number 15, Lariah Wyatt.
Lariah Wyatt back out for LC.
Substitution Warriors. Number 11, Denell Jacobs.
And Lampley exiting for the first time tonight. Rogers has been very active here early on. She averages less than an assist per game, but she's had to touch the ball almost every time Warren Central's coming down the floor tonight. Hazigan here, guarded by Leanna Hyatt. Hyatt, one of the top sophomores here in Indiana. Trying to apply that defensive pressure here against Rogers as we get close to the halfway point of our second stanza. And trying to dribble through the whole defense with Denell Jacobs, and there was a hand every which way when she was coming down the lane.
The first quarter defense description that I would give for the Bears defense is passive-aggressive. And that's probably a backwards type of saying in your head as you listen to me talk through it, but it's aggressive defense. That's not a gamble. But when you have the opportunity to take a chance, you do exactly that. So they're not fouling, but they're creating turnovers. To me, that's very passive because usually being aggressive equates to fouls, and this Coach Lampley team not doing so.
Butler tied up, and a held ball. Possession error here with Lawrence North. Looks like Janan Lampley was wanting to get a timeout there. Thankfully for her that the possession error was in her team's favor.
Substitution Warriors number 10.
We talked about Lola and her older sister Jayla. Well, her two younger brothers will also be gracing the IHSAA airwaves tonight. Kenneth III and Landon with a big game for the Pike boys team tonight over at Carmel. There's a lot of multitasking here once this game's done for Coach Lampley.
A lot of hats she wears. Mom, coach, supporter, all of the things.
She's very excited when we told her, well, you know what's on ISC tonight? She goes, oh, you have the link? I go, yes, we do. We'll send that right over to you. No problem, boss.
Got a chance to watch the other two Lampleys at Pike against their Fishers Tigers just a few weeks ago. A lot of good basketball being played in the state of Indiana, and that Pike team, although they lost that night, have a lot of talent. Head coach Jeff Teague, his resume speaks for itself, but he's leading them in the right direction.
That girls team at Pike, no slouch either. They got a running clock situation against Ben Davis on the weekend. 2-on-1 break, Hyatt to Hyatt. Lariah to Leanna, couldn't convert in front with the Bears. Jacobs trying to find something to operate. Denasia gives off to Denell. Awkward shot, couldn't get it off the high glass. Good defense from Leanna Hyatt.
Substitution. Bears.
Leanna out, Lampley back in.
Lampley.
Jacobs on the inbound. Danelle, the older sister, to her younger sister, Denasia. Denasia cannot get away. Shot blocked by McKenzie. Is an everything tonight on the defensive end for LC. Lampley accelerating, trying to go all 84 feet. She threw it up too hard. Underneath, though, the stick back doesn't drop for Sowell in traffic. She takes on 4 different Warriors and gets tied up in the possession area. Goes back to Warren Central. But that was 1-on-4 for Amaya Sowell.
A lot of chaos going on that possession. Eventually, Stacey Mitchell's group able to get the possession arrow back in their favor. But going back to what I said in that first quarter, Coach Mitchell has to find a way to make things easier on his bunch. This is a young team, a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores in the lineup, and when that's the case and you go against a juggernaut like Lawrence Central, sometimes you learn through more adversity than you do winning plays.
You look at things here tonight for LC, obviously up by 19 here. Their defense has just been absolutely top-notch. You mentioned they started a 7-0 run in both of these quarters. It was turnovers north of the three-point arc back in that opening stanza. As you look towards sectional time, and it'll be held over at North Central for LC in sectional 10. Actually, both these teams in sectional 10. This defense is something that LC can carry to what they hope is a deep playoff.
And if you followed Coach Lampley, as she's been head coach for this team, it's been 2 things: stifling defense and it's read and react offense. That's simple basketball, but it's hard to do simple consistently, and that's what she's constantly after with her bunch as head coach.
Second timeout that Warren has used here in this opening half. They have 3 left. Those are their 3 fulls. Pass heaved all the way to the other end, down low. Jacobs dropped it off to Brown. She fumbled it and not allowed the LC defense to collapse on her. Couldn't hit the turnaround. And another rebound here for McKenzie. Lampley thought about another long-range pass and said Sowell corner 3. And then Brown picks it up off the floor.
With 2 good possessions back-to-back for Warren. They break the press. Layla Brown not able to handle the pass from her teammate Jacobs and unable to finish at the rim, but they get a quality shot after breaking down the press and then get the stop and the rebound, and now they're back on offense. So these are small things within the game for a young team like they already are, and we've already mentioned that you can continue to build on.
Danelle Jacobs misses a 3. Warren just 1 of 8 from three-point range here in this opening half that has 2 and change left in it. Right to the rack, explosive speed for Anaya McKenzie.
She does all the little things. Turned the ball over a couple times in that first quarter, but what does she do? Continue to play basketball the right way, and usually you're rewarded when that is characteristics of your game.
Forces the long 2. Ingram able to pick it up. And now McKenzie firing it up to Hyatt. 1 dribble to set her feet. A little bit too much, and it's tapped out to Denasia Jacobs. Step back, crossover, 3-point shot, glances iron. Danelle has the miss from her younger sister. She'll try her hand at another 3 and cannot find the bottom of the cup. And Janon Lampley, LC head coach, takes a timeout, her first of the night. And it will be a 30-second timeout here for LC. What do you think? Now they're going to make it a full, actually. What do you think Coach Lampley drawing up here with her team? Team up by 21, maybe a little bit too helter-skelter for her liking here as of late?
A simple concept: when you get a big lead, the focus starts to drift away, and you want to get that standard back up to where you know that it can be. Call timeout, come out with a set, get your defense set after you assumptively so get a basket to go in your favor, so then you're able to get that defense set up and maybe pick the energy back up and swing the momentum back in your favor.
She did mention during this recent 9-day stretch, the biggest thing that her team's taken away is they've gotten a lot of late-game situations they've been able to work through, particularly with some of these players that haven't been in that. They mentioned that was the one that plagued them in that first game at Ohio a couple of days back, which is really like that in the last 9 days for her team.
That loss to Crestwood, what did she say she was proud of that she was able to see from her team? They were able to break a press consistently. When you don't have that many ball handlers, you need that going into postseason play. And then the adjustments to figure out a way to claw back into the game. You also need that because you're not going to always bring your best basketball when sectionals come. Do you have DNA to still play quality basketball when things are going wrong?
90 seconds left to go here in the first half. Kiki Butler back on the floor here on senior night for number 6, Lawrence Central. Their seniors will be honored at halftime of our boys game coming up later tonight, also between Warren Central and LC. Lampley pops out, puts it on the deck, step through, moves, scoop, just falls off the rim, cleaned up here by Warren Central. Jacobs got a step around Butler as we get close to it, and a minute left to go here in the first. Rogers is an outlet. McKenzie watching her every move. McKenzie knifing in, gets the steal, and she's going to be home free for the breakaway layup.
Double-digit score for the Bears, doing everything right on defense, being a pest, getting in the passing lanes. You can see guarding Warren's best player, just making life hard for everyone in black and gold.
Warren Central takes the timeout, their third here of the first half, as LC is allowed just one basket here in this quarter. Jared, they have outscored the Warriors 13-2, and it is a stifling defensive effort as Warren Central tries to find some rhythm here offensively.
But it's all tied together. Playing a zone defense for the Warren Central Warriors, not getting rebounds, not finishing off those defensive possessions, and then coming down on the other end on offense, and it's not even a pass to get into your offense. It's one dribble move, and we're hoisting threes. That doesn't always contribute to winning basketball, and that gets you down by 23 in this first half.
Lola Lampley obviously deserves every accolade that comes her way and all of the press clippings as well, but I've been so impressed tonight with Anaya McKenzie and kind of looking around both Indy and also Indiana as well. When you look ahead to this state tournament coming up in a couple weeks' time, I mean, it seems like there could be a night, and it wouldn't surprise you, you'd see Anaya McKenzie, you just read and go, oh, Anaya McKenzie took over and went just banana land? Yeah, because there are very few that can slow her down with her strength and her electrifying speed.
And when you can generate your game with your effort on defense, that always makes you a Swiss Army knife.
Yep.
So no matter what happens to your teammates or yourself, you can get yourself and your team going simply by playing with high effort on the defensive end.
And also don't forget the third person that big three that Janan Lampley calls Kiki Butler, transfer from last year's state champs in Lawrence North, always smiling. Going to BC next year is Warren still trying to get some points. Lampley, crafty job, well done to stick that hand in there, deflect it from Danelle Jacobs and have it go off of her knee. That was impressive from Lola Lampley.
I guess you see why she's headed down
Yeah.
to the bayou.
Why everybody and their sister wanted her? Yeah, I could see why.
That's exactly right.
Leanna Hyde's taking the headband off and letting the dreads fly a little bit here as driving right through the whole defense, and Nia McKenzie's got double figures here in the half.
It's a tough shot. Watched her even well before the game, got to pregame warm-ups, getting multiple reps up, working on the jump shot, but showing you if I need to break down the defense and get to the rim with the offhand, I'm more than capable to execute it.
We talked about the thievery from McKenzie, averaging just over 2 steals per game. Lampley right at about that number as well, and she almost had a breakaway layup right there.
But when you're Lampley's size and you can extend your pressure out and guard 1 through 5, I see exactly why you bring so much to this game. Versatility is through the roof.
Takes a look at the clock, looking to do it herself with 3 seconds left. Lampley got the bump from Rogers. Float game on point right before the horn, and Lampley puts a bow on a spectacular opening half with 13 points to lead everybody.
18 points she averages per game, and with very little effort, nor did we see her really break a sweat. She's 5 points shy of that in a dominant effort in that first half for the Bears.
Impressive showing from number 6, LC, as they're all over Warren, 34-7 here in the first half. We'll take a break and come back with our halftime show next here on the IHSAA Sports Network.
What's in a name? What's in a name? Ed Martin Automotive Group, the only name you need to know.
Back here at Lawrence Central, we see some of the members of the LC boys basketball team getting loose before their matchup with Warren Central coming up after our girls game concludes here. Right now at the break, it's number 6 Lawrence Central leading Warren Central 34-7 in that second quarter. It was all LC as they outscored the Warriors 20-2. Jared Thomas, what impressed you most from LC in that first 16 minutes?
You come into this game understanding that you've played a lot of volume in the last 10 days. And when you do that, the first thing you look at as a competitor is, are we able to fight through the fatigue that could potentially set in? And so far, I think the Bears have aced that. The intensity that they've played with switching up the coverages, being able to pick up full court, not having any lapses in judgment on the defensive end. Even if the offense doesn't always flow with one another, the defense is what keeps you in the games, because that is what travels, and that ultimately is what wins you championships.
On the other side for Warren Central, again, the offense has been hard to come by tonight. What would you like to see the Warriors try to maybe clean up a little bit or try something different in that second half?
Very transactional, but at least 5 to 6 passes on each possession. One that's going to slow the game down, because you have to be intentional with taking care of the basketball. But then within those passes in your system, find the best shot possible each time down. And I think there's some real growth that can come from that if they're able to do so in the second half.
For LC, you look as they get ready. We mentioned two road games coming up at the end of the month, both up in northern Indiana, as they're getting ready to try to make another long run. We mentioned last year they lost to Lawrence North, the eventual state champs, in that sectional championship game. What do you think from this game here, and as of late, that they can kind of package together and say, okay, you need to do these couple of things when the state tournament starts?
It's all about, can you stay focused for 32 minutes? That's what a high school game length is. Can you stay locked in? You don't always have to make the best play or be the star in the play, but can you stay mentally engaged for 32 minutes? And I think that's the real test for Coach Janan Lampley and her bunch. I think there was a slight hesitation in that second quarter. You get the 21-point lead. She calls timeout, and then they're able to go on what looked to be a 6-0 run and finish that half on a strong note, but eliminating those lapses in judgment, because you just never know how those lapses could maybe come back and hurt you in the future when you're not up by 27 points.
We'll take a break, come back, take a look at your first half highlights. All LC here in this one to start at halftime, 34-7 over Dub C here on the IHSAA Sports Network.
In Lawrence Township, the choice is clear. From NACE-accredited early learning centers to comprehensive elementary programming built to support literacy, language, community, and STEM. A 96% graduation rate, with students engaged in pathways preparing for success in college, career, or military service. 50 state championships and 7 national titles. In the classroom, the court, or on the stage, we produce winners. The choice is clear. Make LT your district of destination.
First half highlights coming your way here from LC, and it was a 7-0 start for the Bears, kicked off by Kiki Butler's corner three.
Very uncontested shot, got the party started with a standstill, what looked to be a practice shot for Kiki Butler, and that started the flurry from the Bears in that first half.
Denasia Jacobs knocked down that three. That was her only scoring of the opening half, and it came after the halfway point of the opening quarter. That was one of the prettier moves, weaving through 3 defenders there for Lola Lampley in the and one, as she led the way with 13 first half points, and a lot of buckets here for those wearing pink for number 6 LC.
Key players coming in at opportune times and being able to contribute in their role. And there you see Mrs. Consistent and Lola Lampley. Felt like she could be out there with the guys tonight if she wanted to, how dominant she was in that first half, and then just playing complementary basketball, doing it on both ends of the floor.
See it, Nia McKenzie, the putback there, then showing off the wheels, getting that step through and able to put it right in at the rim. And another steal there as McKenzie finished with 8 of her 10 in that second quarter to pace the way for the Bears, as they had a stamp of approval in that second quarter as they lead by 27 here at recess. Take a break, come back, look at your halftime first half stats here on the IHSAA Sports Network.
McCulling in time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is good.
There you go.
Wow, Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my
goodness.
I feel a little momentum starting to fall Lynn's way.
That in the air. Wrestler! Wrestler! Whoa!
Hey, it's Query.
And I'm Schultz.
And each and every week in podcast form, video form from the IHSAA Sports Network, we do Query and Schultz, brought to you by Bailey and Wood, the fine folks south side of Indianapolis, but serving all of central Indiana for the best mortgage rates.
And, of course, we record right here at Chili Water Brewing Tap Room and our friends at Hoagies and Hops, 42nd and Boulevard, right here in Indianapolis. We're talking Colts, we're talking Pacers, we're talking Hoosiers, we're talking Boilers, and we're hanging with you.
We talk the tall and the short of it, right, is what we do.
Whatever, man. Every Tuesday night, 7:30, right here on the IHSAA Sports Network.
Got the dunk, got the poster, and gets the highlights. Now he takes the look away, and he puts it away.
First half stats here from Lawrence Central High School as the number 6 Bears lead 34-7. They were led by Lola Lamplou at 13 points, 7 in the first, 6 in our second quarter, 10 from Anaya McKenzie, 6 for Kiki Butler, 3 from Amaya Sowell, 2 from Leanna Hyatt, and that rounded out the scoring in the first half for the Bears. Just 2 scorers for Warren Central, 3 from Denasia Jacobs, and that was the first points, of the evening for Warren Central on a 3-point basket. And then Layla Brown had the other 4 points, 2 in the first and 2 in the second. 3-point shooting for Warren Central, not great. They went just 1 of 10 in that opening half, and it seemed like the Warriors were kind of settling a lot for some threes there in that opening 16 minutes.
A lot of those possessions didn't even get a chance to look at the rim because there was turnovers leading to points for the Bears with the way they were able to pest the Warriors defensively. So, as we already mentioned earlier in this halftime report, taking your time throughout offensive possessions and maybe get some more looks at the rim.
On the other side for Lawrence Central, they did not settle for threes. They only had 2 makes in that first half. They were from Kiki Butler. They went 2 of 6 from 3-point range, and also not a lot of free throws as well. Pretty free-flowing half from both from a foul standpoint, also just from a turnover standpoint. It was up and down, back and forth.
Not necessary to shoot a bunch of threes when it feels you can get whatever you want. So you're going to work to make sure you get the easiest shot possible, and that's exactly what they did.
About 80 seconds before we get back going here in this second half here from Lawrence Central. As we mentioned, this rivalry has been owned by the Bears as of late, winners of 4 in a row and 5 out of the last 7, even though the series has tilted heavily to Warren Central in the last quarter century. Upcoming schedule, as we mentioned, for LC coming up Saturday and then a couple days later. So they are going to make the long trek, well, as of now, to Elkhart. I have a feeling that's probably going to get nixed. According to every meteorologist, from the snowpocalypse is about to enter the Midwest in about 24 hours from now. Warren Central has North Central coming up next week. Have you already got all your food and everything for the big snowstorm coming up?
I was just about to say, the irony for us in the Midwest is we're used to a few inches of snow.
Yeah.
I'm more concerned for the South.
Yeah.
Because they don't have any resources to mitigate what's about to dump down on them. So hopefully everyone is doing okay down there, but a few inches of snow and a cold tundra.
That's January.
We've seen worse.
We called that January, right? Yeah, whenever I see anybody they're talking about snow in Atlanta, I just go, oh boy. You just know you're going to see a lot of cars that are just stranded on the highway, just like, hey, I left my car. I was like, I wasn't trying to drive through this ice or anything like that.
Stationed for work down in Texas a couple years ago, and they got hit with an ice storm that wasn't really that catastrophic, but it was black ice. Texas isn't used to that. And so everyone's rushing to the local convenience stores and the grocery stores, and they're saying, you're not loading up on everything. I'm like, for what? The ice storm that's coming. I'm like, wow. But they don't have any salt trucks to come in and do some preventative maintenance, so I totally get it. The one benefit that you have growing up in the Midwest.
That's right.
Don't get as much sunshine year-round, but in times like this, it sure does pay off.
So, well, yeah, when winter weather hits, we know how to handle ourselves. At least we think so. A dedicated play to start out of the half here for LC. Starters on the floor back for both teams. Butler straightaway 3. Coach Lampley wanted her to shoot it, and she answered promptly with her third made 3.
The same way you start the first half, same way you start the second half. Stand still 3 for Kiki Butler. Knocks it down, 2 for 2 at the start of a quarter.
Future BC Eagle, 3 of 4 from range tonight. She's the only Bear to make a 3-point shot this evening.
It helps when you have a transfer that's a state champion that can come in and help your team get better simply because of the experience of winning. Nice addition for the Bears with Kiki Butler.
Zone look for the Bears. Lampley, another pinpoint long-range pass. This one up the floor to Anaya McKenzie.
It's just part of her game. Lampley looking ahead, finding Anaya McKenzie. And it's just like a quarterback finding his receiver down the field. Lampley finding McKenzie. Countless times they've connected tonight.
So what I'm hearing is if Lane Kiffin needs help in the passing game next year in Baton Rouge, he should
as
call
visible
Lampley.
as he is now being down in Baton Rouge, that wouldn't be a bad idea for him.
And the first basket in here early for Warren. Aislinn Durham gets her first bucket of the night. Butler on the pass. Can't convert from right in front of the rim. And a couple of shots coming up here for Kiki Butler. And that was one of the biggest things that head coach Janan Lampley told us. She's always smiling, has that ear-to-ear grin before she steps to the line. And her positive outlook and just that energy she brings to practice every day has been a real breath of fresh air this year for the Bears.
She felt like she took back that ball handler role in these most recent cluster of games, something that they needed, getting back to that big three style of play. And it couldn't have come at a better time as you look postseason play in the eyes here in the next couple of weeks.
Unable to convert on the second one, a rare miss there for Butler, the 81% free throw shooter. Brief numbers advantage for Warren Central as they push it up the floor. And Butler saunters out to defend from straight away. Jacobs around a screen, nice little hesitation dribble. Lefty hook shot does not go. And the last touch by the Warriors, and so LC gets it back just about 2 minutes in here to the third quarter.
A lot of onus tonight on Denasia Jacobs having to handle the ball. Sister Danelle being hounded by a plethora of Bears defenders. So haven't been able to see the leading scorer for the Warriors tonight simply because of the defensive structure and execution of Lawrence Central.
Lampley fires one over to McKenzie, right down the lane through two defenders, got caught underneath the bottom part of the rim, and here comes Warren Central the other way after getting the stop. Jacobs around a screen, looking at a whole bunch of traffic. Butler with the quick hands, and then the speed from Kiki Butler to the other end. And a timeout here on the floor. It'll be a timeout here for LC. What have you liked most about Janan Lampley? Kind of taking a little bit of air out of the ball a little bit, but making her team run some dedicated sets here to start the third.
Everything's on the table at this time of year. We want to make sure everything is buttoned up to the level that you would like to see as we continue to talk about postseason play. Can't believe that we're already here. It happened so quickly, but that has to be forefront of everyone's mind because you get to a point where there are no more regular season games. And if you don't win, there's no more learning because you're going home. So Coach Janan Lampley wanting to make sure that everything from breaking down a press to defensive rotations to offensive sets, all those things are in line because all hands will be on deck come sectionals and on.
You can watch that sectional draw with our good friends and coworkers, Greg Raystra and Kristen Hazley, coming up on IHSAATV.org. That'll be Sunday at 6 p.m. All 60-plus sectionals will be revealed. You can find out where your favorite team is playing and when with the 51st annual girls basketball state tournament here in Indiana. Jacobs the corner three. Danelle couldn't get it in. Lampley taps the ball to herself, trying to get another long-range pass. She finds McKenzie, waits, and goes right up and over the defender.
Seems like Anaya McKenzie wants to make things a little bit more difficult than they need to be tonight. Triple pump fake on the outlet pass that she got from Lola Lampley, but still able to knock in the 2 points. And got a lot more style points on that one than easy ones.
A full line change of Bears about to come in as we've entered the running clock portion of our game with that lead getting up at 35. Driving layup there from Donnell Jacobs for her first scoring.
Donnell Jacobs is a 1,000-point scorer in her career. So this is not a slouch offensively. Just have to tip your cap to Lawrence Central for the effort that they've given and attention they've shown Donnell, but Donnell able to get a tough finish to go. Maybe that is going to be a welcome sight for the Warriors.
And Jacobs averaging almost 16 points per game. Her first points of this game come almost the halfway point of the third. Lampley at the line with one more to come.
Bear substitutions, number 1, Lily Hyatt. Number 4, Nevaeh Garwood.
Lily Hyatt in. Nevaeh Garwood on for the first time.
Number 12,
Here for LC, Christina Hollowell and Amila Williams in for the Bears as well. And the last sub will come in to get Lola Lampley. It is the sophomore Amaya Sowell.
23, Amaya Sowell.
So the 5 starters check out. Presume that their night has come to a conclusion here for number 6 LC. So well on the way to their 17th win of the year, their 9th one here at home. J.C. Anderson to the ball game for the Warriors. Jacobs, Donnell, the corner 3, splashes it home.
It's very simple for a scorer like Donnell Jacobs. If you get a layup to go, then surely the next one and time you look at the rim, it's going to be nothing but the bottom of the net. And she was able to get a 3-pointer to go down in her favor.
So well storms in, had it taken out of her mitts. Rogers returning here for Warren Central. Senior night here for LC. Couldn't have gone any better for the Bears clad in pink. They'll have their senior night ceremony coming up at halftime of the boys game coming up here in a little bit. But you have to like, we can see right here is Lily Hyatt drives and knocked out of bounds. But you look over that bench and you see both Lola Lampley and Anaya McKenzie shouting out instructions to their teammates on the floor, trying to make sure that everyone's in the right spot there, Jared.
It's what you want to see from a veteran-led group like the Lawrence Central Bears have, leading some of these younger players. And truthfully, this has been the DNA of this team this year. The games that have gotten out of hand, a lot of these players that we see right now have gotten on the floor. So all you're really doing, if you're Coach Lampley, stealing some possessions for later in the season, and then as you look ahead to the future of your program.
Williams, the freshman, telegraphed the pass. Denasia Jacobs stole it. And Williams got back and then gets in the way and gets called for the foul. And the starters back to the bench here for LC. We mentioned John Lampley, her 4th year as the head coach here at LC. These seniors were freshmen when she took over after spending some time as an assistant. But her real claim to fame early on was building up that youth league coming up here in Lawrence Township. You can see the dividends here tonight and throughout the last couple of years as well.
Every job that gets taken, being a football guy here in the state of Indiana, but basketball as well, you have to get the feeder programs in place. Because although you may have talent here in 2026 with that class, whenever they're going to graduate at some point in time, they're not going to be walking those hallways. Finding a way to impart some wisdom and some instruction and development into the youth is going to be a breath of fresh air when their time does come, like we've seen with Coach Lampley and what she did with that youth program.
Nice quick passing. Ingram's 3 a little bit off target. Final 90 seconds here of our quick moving third quarter. Stolen here. Butler drives and able to put it home. 14 for Kiki Butler. Turning in, Hyatt tied up with Rogers as Rogers had the ball slip right between her mitts, and right there to intercept it was Lariah Hyatt. Warren Central came in winners of 4 in a row, twisting a nice interception by McKenzie. Deflected off of her, and it'll go right back to Warren, but an impressive play there with McKenzie falling back, twisting and turning.
It's the anticipation into the passing lanes defensively. That's what we've talked about all game. Defensively, defensively, defensively. That's what they've done, the Bears, jumping into the passing lanes, making it difficult on the primary ball handler all game long, and that's exactly why, because of what they've been able to do with guarding Warren Central.
Jacobs slashing her way in. All 7 of her points have come here in this third stanza, but it's been all LC tonight. Jumped out to that 7-0 lead to start the ball game off and have not looked back since. as they've got this game into a running clock situation. Lampley against Rogers, lost it. Hyatt picks it up in the corner. Ingram around the McKenzie screen, a little show and go, throws it up. And one last opportunity here for Warren Central. Jacobs beyond the arc, lets it fly, and it's good for Donnell Jacobs right before the third quarter horn. 10 points for Donnell Jacobs all in the quarter, but it's all LC tonight. One more quarter to go. Bears on top, 48-19 here on the ISC Sports Network.
What's in a name? What's in a name? Ed Martin Automotive Group, the only name you need to know.
In Lawrence Township, the choice is clear. From NACE accredited early learning centers to comprehensive elementary programming built to support literacy, language, community, and STEM. A 96% graduation rate, with students engaged in pathways preparing for success in college, career, or military service. 50 state championships and 7 national titles. In the classroom, the court, or on the stage, we produce winners. The choice is clear. Make LT your district of destination.
The MSD of Lawrence Township embodies educational excellence, unlocking the full potential of every student we serve. Where innovation meets tradition and students excel in welcoming, safe, state-of-the-art facilities. Boasting a 95% graduation rate, Lawrence Township's honors programs, career pathways, and dual credit opportunities prepare future leaders and workers. On the court and in the arts, state champion students excel, driven by ambition and community spirit. Enroll now at Lawrence Township, your destination to a brighter future. Starters on the floor to start this fourth quarter. Ingram can't get in from close range. Layla Brown jogging up the floor for Warren Central. Just blinking her eyes a little bit, might have taken a shot up high, trying to go for the rebound on the other end, and then gets clipped trying to set the screen. Hip check on the baseline for Anaya McKenzie, her second. Melina Fowkes quickly in here for the Warriors to go get Brown. Again, running clock situation after that LC lead got to 35. That one hangs on the rim and drops for the Warriors. First bucket for Fowkes tonight. Lampley accelerates, Hyatt, corner three, splash for Lariah Wyatt.
The selfless nature of Lola Lampley to set some offense up, constantly keeping her head up, finding teammates, and Hyatt knocks it down.
Jacobs slashing, had all 10 of her points in the third and adds to it here on an impressive take to get to a dozen. Make sure to stay tuned for our second game of our doubleheader coming up at around 7:30. The boys will step to the floor here between Warren Central and LC. So they're about halfway through their regular season schedule. Anderson, block to block, ping, ping, passing finds the hands of Fowkes.
Fowkes does a nice job on the defensive glass with her rebounding, 6 per game. They're doing a nice job in back-to-back possessions, finding herself around the rim, and getting some easy finishes to go for the Warriors.
Lampley on the Euro. McKenzie gets fouled.
Foul is on 10, Denasia Jacobs.
That's Denasia Jacobs, her first.
Anaya McKenzie has 2 free throws.
Sectional draw coming up on Sunday at 6 o'clock on IHSAATV.org. And these two teams could face off again in Sectional 10, held over at North Central. Other teams in that sectional, Arsenal Tech and Lawrence North. They always hotly contest at Sectional 10, whether it's on the girls' basketball side or the boys' basketball side.
23, ISIS.
Things sure do look different from when I was playing at Cathedral and playing in some tough sectionals, Lawrence North, Lawrence Central, Arsenal Tech at the time, Warren Central being in that sectional 10 still reigning supreme when it comes to competition for both boys and girls. Anytime you win that sectional, you feel confident in your ability to run the table.
Saw that last year with Lawrence North knocking off LC in that sectional. Butler had an opportunity at an and-one after racing up the floor off the feed from Lampley.
I wonder when she's always smirking before she goes to the free throw line or throughout the entirety of a game, it's because she knows she's cooler than the other side of the pillow. And really no one can stunt her game, always getting to her spots at the right appropriate time, getting the nice finish on the and-one.
You know me too well. You know I'm always a sucker for a good Stuart Scott line.
Rest in peace to a legend.
Indeed, indeed. Butler with 17 points tonight. The big three have flexed their muscles. Lampley with 15, McKenzie with 16. Brown a turnaround elbow jump shot rolls in.
You mentioned one of those games where she scored in double figures. 14 was the other total in 2 of the 4 games that she reached double-digit mark. Layla Brown is definitely capable of scoring and further contributing in this second half for Warren Central, playing a lot better, 20 points to show to their name in this second half. That almost doubles what they showed in that first half alone. So in my book, that is definitely improvement from first half to second half.
What do you think has improved for them, particularly here in this second half, that's got them more in a rhythm?
Would you say ping, ping, pass, and the nice finish?
Yeah.
I think the ping and the pang, however you want to describe it, is what has improved in this second half. Just sharing the basketball, taking their time, not being rushed by the pressure of the Bears.
Warriors slowing it down here with Denasia Jacobs at the sticks. Lost it, got it back as Butler saunters out to defend. And a timeout here for Warren Central. That's their second to last full timeout with Lily Hyatt about to come back in here for Lawrence Central. Big three have put on a show, as we mentioned tonight. They're all going to Division I colleges next year. Lola Lampley for going to LSU, Anaya McKenzie at UIC, and Kiki Butler at Lawrence North. Similar to what we've seen from Pike on the girls' side, they have 3 D1 commits in their starting lineup. They also possess 2 of the top freshmen in the entire state. So Central Indiana flexing its muscles here in a big way when it comes to girls basketball.
The one thing I love about this Bears team is their best players show relentless effort on both ends of the floor. And when your top players do that, it really injects some life and a certain type of attitude throughout the rest of the team. Coach Lampley doesn't have to vocalize what the standard is. All you have to do is watch the best players, because when they're executing on both ends of the floor, playing with high intensity, everyone else will naturally follow.
We talked about Kiki Butler transferring over from Lawrence North. I really enjoyed our conversation with Janan Lampley last week, and she said, one of the first 2 or 3 or 4 practices that we had, we go really, really hard in practice, and she said, I go around and ask each of my young ladies at the end, well, what did you learn in practice today? And she said, Kiki's kind of, looks pretty tired. And she goes, Coach, did he come back to me? So she goes, I go all the way around the circle. I come back, and Kiki just goes, man, these practices are tough. Now I know why you guys beat us 5 and 6 and 7 times in a row. And Coach Lampley goes, I wasn't expecting her to say that. It kind of brought some levity to the group after a hard day early season practice. But she mentioned that's just kind of the personality that Kiki Butler has. Always a smile on her face no matter what's been going on the floor, whether it be practice or a game.
And that can be a culture shock when you're the queen of the hill and you win a state championship the year before, and then you come over and you're the one that's looked to impart what that standard is based off of winning, and then you see she wasn't used to that type of intensity. That's a pretty cool moment for everyone supporting and on this Lawrence Central team, and truly has to give them some confidence that they can get back and win another state championship.
Won that state title 2 years ago, back in 2024. A lot of the same faces on that team here trying to lead them back to the summit. Foul on J.C. Anderson, number 2 on her, and more free throw work here for Anaya McKenzie.
I'm a glutton when it comes to the history of the game or the history of teams. Hadn't won a sectional game before that state championship year in 23-24 since 2001. A sectional championship since 1987. In that year, they win their first regional championship, their first semi-state championship, and obviously are victorious and were almost flawless in doing it. It wasn't until that game against George Rogers Clark down in Kentucky, which they were leading by 7 with a minute to go. So I'm sure the way that they look at it, they had more in the tank to give, although still remained victorious. With being state champs at the end of the season, always something to look back to and say we could have done that a little bit better. And now you put that on the shoulders of this team as they look ahead to a state championship run.
That's the thing that Coach Lampley told us, right? He said the only time that you have a regret in your life is when you don't have 100, you haven't been prepared at 100% level that you need to. I knew I was going to butcher it. She did it much better than what I just did, I promise. But she said, she goes, there was regret in our locker room last year when we lost that sectional title. We have not forgotten that one bit.
Because it's easy. We're in the same frame of time that they were in last year. They beat Lawrence North almost 30 points. And so when you do that and you see them in sectional again, psychologically as a player, you're telling yourself, well, we already beat that team by 30. We just have to show up. Right. You don't physically say that, but you're thinking it. And those are the type of mentalities that get you beat. And so you just want to get that out of your psyche, and you see a hungrier team than you did a year ago.
Final 90 seconds of this one. Lawrence Central will pick up their 3rd win in a row and their 7th out of their last 8. They've been just so impressive this year. 6th game in the last 9 days here for the Bears. Foul on the floor here for LC. It's on Anaya McKenzie, number 3 on her.
Fair substitution, 34, Christina Hollowell.
Free throw work here for J.C. Anderson on her first point of the night. 5'5" freshman guard. Classmate Christina Hollowell, actually fellow freshman, I should say, from LC enters. Anderson knocks them both down. It has been all Bears tonight, clad in the pink jerseys and shorts. 7-0 lead out of the chute. And have not looked back since. Got that lead up to 35 in that 3rd quarter. Sowell goes up, Brown on the block. Possession arrow keeping it here with the Bears as we're under a minute to go here in the first game of 2 tonight here from the east side of Indy. And Janine Lampley will take a 30-second timeout to try to get the right play in here for her senior group. You could look at a scoring margin like this, LC up by 29 points, but as we talked with her last week, you know, she mentioned these late game situations, obviously not as a tight of a score as you see from a prototypical late game situation, but still an opportunity late in the game, under a minute to go. You have a baseline or a sideline inbound, gives them an opportunity to work on this in case they run into this scenario in the last 2 games of the regular season or in sectional time.
In the quest to be successful and to win, you have to have tunnel vision. You can't get lured into the fact that, oh, you're up by X amount of points. Do it the next time. As soon as you start doing that, now you're making adjustments to things that are your standards. So I love the fact that they're still looking to execute when it matters most, because later on, you're not going to think back to when you didn't do it. You're going to think back to when you didn't execute. So if you didn't have a chance to execute, that becomes tough.
Lampley no-look dish. McKenzie for a long 2. Off the rim after Lampley did some yeoman's work for the rebound, and then Jacobs fired out of a cannon to the other end for the Warriors. Rogers turns, and Hollowell gets called for the hand check.
Foul is on 34, Christina Hollowell.
And Coach Lampley trying to get a timeout to get Nevaeh Garwood and Amila Williams on as she takes out Lola Lampley and Anaya McKenzie. Gives them both hugs. That's also how Coach Lampley starts practice every day for the Bears. Giving each of her players a hug before the start of practice. And the 3rd win in a row is in the books here for LC. A convincing win tonight by a final of 58-29 here against Warren Central. As we jump right in to our post-game show, 3 in double figures tonight. Jared for Lawrence Central. Lola Lampley had 15 points. Kiki Butler had 17, our player of the game tonight. That young lady right there, Anaya McKenzie, she finished with a game-high 18 points.
She did everything tonight. even despite her mistakes, she was able to bounce back, and it was that play right there in that first quarter. She was able to get a steal, and that propelled her into the rest of her performance tonight for the Bears. Outstanding job from the senior, leading from the front, and it's so tough to pick one of the big three, but she was massive tonight in her performance.
She is tonight's big dog of the game, and it's brought to you by LD Smith Plumbing and Drains. At LD Smith Plumbing and Drains, we know a thing or two about getting dirty and keeping things flowing. Hats off to tonight's big dog for leading the charge for the 6th-ranked LC Bears, and she gets a little work in with the cheerleading team as well. Looks like she's done that a time or two.
Didn't miss a beat.
No, she was on point.
Thoroughly impressed. Stole the pom-poms and jumped right into routine. So just absolutely did it all tonight.
Front row seat to the Anaya McKenzie show in all facets here tonight as Lawrence Central improves to 17-4 on the year. 4-1 in the MIC. Warren Central falls to 11-9, 1-3 in the conference. Tonight's game has been presented by Ed Martin Automotive Group. Ed Martin, the only name you need to know. Lawrence Township Schools. Learn more about Lawrence excellence today at ltschools.org. And LD Smith Plumbing, the big dogs of plumbing. So for our crew, headed up by director Vince Morales, camera operator Charlie Hammock, our great analyst Jared Thomas, I'm Rick Johnson saying so long for now from Lawrence Central High School. First game of our girl-boy doubleheader goes the way of number 6 Lawrence Central as they defeat Warren Central tonight, 58-29. The boys' game of our doubleheader coming up in about 20 minutes right back here on the ISC Sports Network. This has been a presentation of Indiana Girls High School Basketball on the ISC Sports Network.
All concessions.